Hello, guys, and welcome to the fourth season of Seve Talk, my monthly podcast. I am Séverine Tamborero, professional tennis coach, author, and a creative thinker. This year will be about having a conversation with all of you, some very special guests, and nothing will be off limits. Join the conversation every month at CoachSeve.com, iTunes, Spotify, and on my YouTube channel. So let's talk. Okay, everyone, how, I can present this person. First of all, welcome to Seve Talk, another podcast, another amazing person I'm receiving. And today I am privileged. I am privileged to call him a friend. I'm privileged that we've met in person last year. I have at Seve Talk, Mr. Martin Rocca. Martin, welcome.
Thank you for having me here. It's a very good pleasure for me to be here.
Thank you, Martin. Listen, I know you're so busy. You've been involved with different projects that we're going to talk later, but mostly you're someone that like to share. You are a tennis coach. That's your main profession, but there's so many things you do around your coaching, and we'll talk about it. But Martin, I'm curious, even if we had different conversation through the years, why tennis? Why coaching? How did you become a coach?
You know, it's a funny thing because I have no idea. Usually when you become a coach, it's because you've been playing tennis for a while or you were competing. Most of the coaches I know, they were trying to be competitive players or get into professionalism. And when they didn't make it, okay, I'm going to stay in my club and I'm going to help the program. And then they become eventually coaches. Sometimes that's the main way to become a coach. But I never played tennis in a program when I was a kid.
Interesting.
My father gave me and my brother a racket when I was 10. My brother was 8, and we used to play on the street. So by the end of, when I was 14, 15, probably I was getting to the tennis courts around the city just to play recreational tennis. But I was a big fan of every sport, and I was following tennis a lot. I would try to squeeze the news of every tournament, try to remember the scores. Oh, this guy beat this one. Last year, I remember it was the opposite result. Okay, very fanatic about that. But I think it was when I was 17, a friend of my father asked him for a favor. They had a coach in a small club, and the coach left with no previous warning. So they needed a coach right away. And he said, your son plays tennis, right? So can he help us? Because we have students that are coming and we had no coach. So I helped them. I have no idea, to be honest, I have no idea what I did. Those sessions, people liked it. But I think it was like the first memory that I had. I say, well, the first step into, okay, probably this is going to be fun. Maybe I can do this right. But I was going to be a dentist.
Wow.
I was going to be a dentist. But when I started college, I lasted 3 months there. I said, this is not for me. And I immediately went to the tennis club around my neighborhood. And then I said to one of the coaches that I knew, where did you get the certification to become a coach? So he gave me information, and I had to wait for 1 year to go to that place to get the certification. It was a 1-year course, 1 year in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I'm from there. And then I became a coach in 1989.
Wow.
And here I am, still battling the court.
That's crazy. We kind of have, and we talked about it a little bit, the same path. And like you mentioned, you're from Argentina. You're wanting to go to be a dentist. Then you become a coach. And next thing you know, you're in Spain. So you have to explain to me how all of this came through and how Spain became your second home. for the past few years now?
Okay, the path is very, and the story is long, but I make it short. Okay, because we Argentinians, we talk too much. We don't have an entire week to talk about this, so I'll make it short.
So Martin, I think I have a little bit of Argentina in me then.
So this is what happened. I started working around my club, and I met friends during that course that I was making to get the certification. They introduced me to some clubs, and I started working on the weekends. In my neighborhood, there was a club, and they hired me to work with the kids for only a few hours every afternoon. And the thing is that happens in tennis very often is that if you work in competition level as a player, you become a competition coach. If you're not that good as a player, or maybe didn't have a good record as a player, okay, you work with the little kids, okay? That's what happened to me. Instead of saying, okay, this is not what I want, I say, fine. I have the opportunity to play with kids. I'll teach them, that's fine. I see that no one works with them. No one wants to work with little kids. So I'll do it. It's not a challenge for me. I love it. The thing is that allowed me to work. I've been coaching now for 33 years now. That allowed me to work in different countries that I've been with kids, younger ages, and create a mentality of how to improve my sessions with them. But then I worked in Buenos Aires for 9 years as a coach. Then I moved to New York because I had family there. I moved to New York to just experience something different, and I spent 5 years there. It was good for me to get another perspective of how to teach. I wouldn't say that I learned a lot about coaching like I did in Spain, for example, but I learned a lot about management. The manager that I had in the club was a very passionate person, and he transmitted that to me. So I learned that a lot from that. And anyway, I'm the kind of person that takes inputs of everything. The good things, the bad things, the neutral things, that's things that you might say, okay, maybe you're not going to learn a lot. Okay, but this is creating an idea of me how to improve this. So this, all these things make me change my mentality, make me change the way I work, and I always try to improve things. So after 5 years in New York, I came to Italy for a few weeks, but then I ended up landing in Barcelona. And now I've been in the Barcelona, Catalonia area in Spain for 19 years. And I can say that I learned a lot. I met tremendous coaches. I have good friendship with extremely good coaches. And fortunately, I was able to build a reputation here. And I cannot complain. The way they treat me, the way they allow me to work, and then the things I learned as a coach and as a person.
That's amazing. What a pathway. And I think that's what I love about you is that perspective of learning. When we stop learning, we don't do our job well. So for you to be able to be open and to get all the information from where you went and see one thing that is positive for your coaching. And as I always said, even myself, I remember I coached at 17 years old and I went full time because I found that I thought at that time my passion, and I'm still in it. But it's so easy when we get that aspect of openness, right? Because you get information, and you said that you learned a lot. So my question to you is, what is it? And I'm sure it's different from all those stages when you coach for over 30 years, but what is the one or two things that you've been surrounded, or something that someone said to you that you're like, okay, this is so important. This is what's going to bring my coaching to the next level?
Okay, that's a good question. One thing I learned from the manager I had in New York, His family from Ecuador, so very Latino
Mm-hmm.
spirit. Okay, very good temper and very passionate. And then he taught me how to be passionate about trying to transmit what I was trying to tell the kids. Okay, not being just a ball feeder with my mouth shut and then seeing the kids hitting balls. Honestly, I cannot do that. I can't say, sometimes I'm tired and say, okay, I'm going to relax a little bit when I feed some balls. I want to let the kids play. But after 2 minutes and I see one kid making a mistake, it's just, okay, yeah, let's start again. Let's get energy from anywhere, but let's go for it. He taught me how to do that. And this is something if you see me coaching, and this is also something that parents or other coaches tell me, as if you're in a program and you see players and coaches in a club, you will always hear my voice. It's not that because I'm screaming like a football fan. I'm always passionate about doing something, organizing. Pay attention here, do this, try to get information here. How can we do this? I'm always trying to move things around. I'm not just repeating formulas. I cannot do that. Even when I do something and I say, okay, I've been doing this drills or games or this methodology I've been using for a while. How can I change it? How can I add something new? And then I know people like you, for example. And then you know it. When we had the chance to meet in the couple of conferences that we've been together, the good thing about those conferences is that if you're a speaker and I'm the speaker, I'm sitting right next to the court when you're doing your presentation because I learned from that. And that is the atmosphere of the conferences that we've been sharing. I like getting information because I understand that that's going to make me a better coach and that's going to improve my players. It's easy. And that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not easy. And like you say, it's that, we always say, oh, we're in our passion. And that's what I realized through, even the last few years. Overall, the passion, and we share that passion. It is our sport, but overall, it is the sharing. I think our sport is a vehicle for the sharing aspect, sharing our experiences, sharing our knowledge. And I think when you're in that state, you have no choice to be open to learning, because you're so right. That's how we improve. And that's why we're able also to take information and share with others. But that's right. Great learnings. Yeah.
Definitely. Social media can help a lot to transmit that, for example. I'm not the type of person, and I'm not criticizing that, but it's not something I do. When you see my social media or my personal social media, I'm not showing that I'm having a paella or I'm staying at the beach. I'm in a club. I like visiting new clubs, or I'm surrounded by a group of girls that I'm coaching. This is what I do, or because I'm going to a concert because I like music. But when my other accounts, I show what I do in order to promote tennis with my association, or in order to show the way I work with kids. And this is about sharing, because if I don't want to share it, I don't post it.
Yeah, no,
I want to show others, hey, I'm working with, right now I have an under 10 group of girls. And I'm absolutely in love with them. And I'm really devoted to make them better players. And what happens? I try to find a way to improve every single detail. Footwork, preparation, the way they practice, the way they warm up, the way they play on the court, the way they behave on the court. So watching other coaches, that helps me to get my goal of improving my girls in this case. So yeah, sharing is important. It's the most important thing.
Yeah, no, listen, it's great. And we're talking about sharing, and we'll come back to that aspect of coaching younger kids, because I know it's something that is close to your heart. It's something that also we have in common, because sometimes it's so much easier, right, to go with the high level older kids going on tour, and something that I think it's great, and I'm also doing. But that aspect of getting those young kids and giving them the tools to be better. I ask you to have it close to you, because unfortunately I'm sharing this book of yours with everyone, so it's at the office. You talked about sharing, and you've done a group for mini player that you called, and you created a book. I would like you to show it. People that would see this podcast on YouTube will be able to see it. This is a great book. It's a great book, and we see a book, but it's a great tool. I'm going to call it a tool. I was fortunate enough for you to send it to me in Spanish, so it's great because it's a language that I love, and it's part also of my my heritage. How this book started for you, because it's really about giving tools, sharing exercises, sharing your vision with coaches, but I'm sure it started somewhere, because I know what it takes to write a book, and I'm sure you worked so hard for long years, but it needed to start there's something that you said, okay, I'm going to do this. When was that? And how did it create it from your head to that book?
Well, it started when I said, okay, I understand that the way I'm coaching the kids, or the way I want to coach them, or the way I'm preparing sessions, it's different than others. Okay. So it's not that I wanted to be the weird guy teaching kids, but I said, okay, why do I have to have, like all the other coaches, a line of kids waiting for me to drop a ball so they can hit, when I can teach them in a different way? So I started working in a club many years ago here in the Catalonia area. And one of the coaches, a good friend of mine, a guy I admire a lot, he was setting up obstacle tracks for the kids. And the kids were doing coordination. But at the end, they were always doing something with the racket. So I said, these kids are improving their skills and also playing tennis instead of being waiting for the ball on the line. So I said, okay, I can even do something related to that, but even make it even better or make it different and add more stuff. So I started setting up obstacle tracks in a way that I was working side steps, recovery steps, split steps, moving towards the net or towards the ball, stopping, hitting the ball on the side of the body. I started doing that, and I said, okay, maybe I can start producing some videos so I can remember, first of all, remember what I'm doing, because sometimes I improvise stuff. Very creative. I can call myself a creative coach, but and I like it. But thing is, okay, I'm gonna try to keep that as to remember everything I've been doing with these kids in the way that I can show, okay, we started this way, and after a few years, we translated this to that. And now the kids, when they were 4, they were jumping over cones, and they were doing gymnastics, like some parents were saying, why is my kid doing that? And then I was showing them, okay, probably because he was doing that 3 years ago. Now look at the way your son or your daughter is moving his feet on the court, because they're very skillful. Okay. So I started doing that, and then I put all of the ideas together in a document, and then I showed it to a friend, and he said, why don't you publish a book? And I said, that would be a pretty good idea, but I never thought about it. Okay, so he helped me, and he was in charge of the coaches education, the Catalan Federation. So I had a lot of experience as a university coach, a university professor also. So he has a lot of knowledge about documents, studies, and presentations for the ITF. So he helped me. He gave it a shape of a book with more information. He gave me a lot of books, especially from the French schools, saying, okay, you can relate to the things you're doing in your sessions to studies that were published certain years ago, because the French are used to do this in their programs, and I was getting all the information from that, and we finally made it. What I like the book is not only that it reflects on my ideas about how to teach the kids. This is the sharing part. I made a guide for coaches, because I know some coaches say, it's very stressful to work with kids. And my answer is always the same. It is not stressful to work with kids. Kids are lovely. What it is stressful is not knowing what to do with them.
That's
if
true.
You don't know how to teach them. You don't know, you get, what can I do now? 10 kids screaming and jumping, and then I don't know how to handle this. If you know how to do it, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And they play, and they show you gratitude and smiles, and that's a lovely part of our job. And we made a guide to show the coaches, okay, if you have red ball kids, do warm-ups with them, coordination games. And then if you want to teach them something, you do this progression. Orange ball kids, green ball kids, yellow ball kids, adults, people with disabilities. Okay, you have a guide, and you have, can I show it?
Yeah, sure.
For example, this is the guide. You have images and text saying what you see in the picture. And then when you scan it with the phone, let me do it now. You scan it with the phone, you get a video of the exercise you're doing with the kids. Okay, now it's
yeah.
So
and for people that don't see it, that's exactly what the book is doing. Is you're opening a page. There's a structure. Then you will have a QR. You're gonna scan it, and boom, the exercise gonna come up on your phone or your tablet. And that's amazing. And for you to be able, and that's a tough part, to transfer what was in your head and then to put it on paper and then to really share all of this with the coaches is amazing. And the more we're going to share this, and the better the coaches will be at the end. Who's going to be happy about that? It's probably the kids. You said in the beginning that you've been told, and probably you realize being on court, that you're doing things differently than some coaches. If you had like 3 things to describe what makes you different, what would it be?
Okay, I always talk about the 3 things that I do in my sessions. One is the creativity. Kids are extremely creative, obviously. You ask them one simple question and they can give you, 20 kids can give you 20 different answers. If you ask the same question to 20 adults, they probably say 3 different answers. Because the younger we are, the more free we are to express ourselves. But also creativity from the coaches. When you do always the same warm-up, you do, okay, let's play hide and seek. Let's play cups and thieves, and games that I call the schoolyard games. That are not related to tennis, but the kids are having fun with them. I don't do that. I try to make coordination games in order to prepare the session. But if you repeat that, you don't become a creative coach. So challenge yourself. Try to do something different every week or every month. Try it, change it, find information, look for it, ask questions. Okay? When you have other coaches, how can I do this? I want to do something different. Can you help me? Yeah, I can do that. Number 1 is creativity. Number 2 is the fun part. And this is very dangerous, because we can make very fun sessions for the kids. As I was saying, you do hide and seek, and then you do all those games that kids are playing always by themselves, and the kids are going to have fun. The problem is that you're not teaching them anything. They're there to learn how to play tennis, or they're introducing to the sport. So You need to have a fun environment, but with content. That's the most important thing for me. And the other thing is the type of the session you do. If you were mentioning this before, if you might make a line and you just teach the kids, hit the ball, follow through, pick up the ball, go back to the line. Where is the fun part of that? So sessions should be dynamic. All the kids moving all the time, jumping, throwing, catching, and chasing a ball, catching it with the cone. So that's going to help you to make him move, make him do a ball tracking, make him work with the kids, with other kids. You develop team spirit, you develop their skills, and you have them moving all the time. Not just moving because they're running and chasing balls. No. They're doing something specific to learn how to play the sport, because this is not chess. We're not sitting on a chair, right? When you play tennis, we have to move, and every ball is different, and then we have to go left, right, forward, back, jump, and then we have to prepare the kids for the sport, not just standing still and hitting the ball. I understand that. I always say this. There is a noble idea of we teach this sport very technically in the beginning, so the kids have all the tools. I understand the process is boring. We can discuss it. You can tell me anything you want about the benefits of learning how to hit a forehand and follow through when you are 4. Okay, you can tell me all of that and I will listen to you. The thing is, that process is boring and it's not engaging. And if you see kids playing football, volleyball, rugby, basketball, the first day they join a program and they never play football, basket, anything, any other sport in their life, the first day they're playing and chasing a ball and running and catching and passing and kicking. And in tennis, you make a line. So that's why I consider myself different from others, because I don't do that. I don't like doing that. And I'm in a battle against that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, it's great. And to be honest, I hope there will be more of you. So that way it's not going to be an exception to have fun on court. It's not going to be an exception to be creative. And also, like you mentioned, for the coaches to give themselves permission to try things. Sometimes, they're so afraid to make a mistake. We don't do mistakes. When we have a smile on the faces of the kids, like you said, when they're moving, they're enjoying themselves. And I'm going to take back also what you said, the process. That's where sometimes we're either going to have success or we're going to fail as coaches, because at the end of the day, who creates the environment? It's us. So I do think your 3 points are so important. Be creative, make sure that you're having fun with a purpose. That's also something we put aside with young kids, right? Martin, we say that, oh yeah, they're just with the orange ball or with the green ball, or, oh, they're just starting. And like you say, it's so true. We kind of have our kids and we forget that tennis is, we need to play the game. We need to play tennis. It's not just about coaching. So I really hope everyone listening right now are taking those 3 points. And it's something, I read the book, I saw the video that really, really shows easily in those videos and in your book. So I'm very happy you've done that. And for me, and it's something I will discuss in another podcast, I really believe that coaching is about coaching from the heart. And you're a great, great example of that. You're coaching with the heart. You're someone that cares for the kids more than you're going to care for your ego. And one thing that is, for me, showing that is Tennis Aid, something you created a few years ago, something that is close to your heart, something that shows that the giving back part. So can you discuss and talk a little bit about Tennis Aid, something that you created for a few years ago, and also discuss little stories, when you went overseas to do this and promote Tennis Aid?
Yeah, thank you for letting me talk about that. Just as a parallel to what happened with me when I was a kid, and I thought I was going to be a dentist. Okay, I I was making videos of the sessions, and since I'm the MTV, the old MTV mentality, you see videos and music. I was put music on my videos. I was making addition of the videos of the sessions with my kids and stuff. And one day I said, okay, I'm going to do something different, not my sessions. I'm going to show how people are teaching tennis, especially mini tennis, all over the world. Okay. So I started contacting coaches through Facebook, through WhatsApp, and then I contact coaches from 30 some different countries. And I got videos from them. And I put up a video called Wheel of Mini. And among the many videos I got from the US, from Colombia, from Argentina, from Japan, from anywhere, I got some from Africa, especially one, two videos from a coach from Uganda. And he was always telling me, listen, I love what you're doing and I love your sessions, but we don't have that equipment because I set up the obstacle tracks with a lot of cones and hoops and sticks and stuff. And we don't have that equipment. We don't have orange balls. We don't have red balls here. So I said, okay, I'm going to do something. I'm going to help this coach. I'm going to buy a few softballs and then give him some rackets that we have in the storage. The kids left many years ago and no one asking for them. So I'm going to send them a box with rackets and balls. So I said to my friend, can you come with me to buy this stuff? So I explained them why. I said, why don't we go to Africa instead of sending a box? He had no idea whatsoever about what I was talking or who I was trying to help to. Thing is, a month and a half later, we were in Uganda, okay, for the first time. That was 8 years ago, in 2014. And then we went there. We worked with kids during 1 week. We were doing sessions in the morning in a special school for kids with deaf kids. And then in the afternoon, we were going to two primary schools that are together and share the same field. And we were setting up the course there every day and teaching the kids. We gave them a lot of tracksuits and rackets and balls and shoes and hats and stuff. The experience was so emotional that we were so impacted about this. We said, okay, we're not going to stop it. This is not going to be a one-time experience and that was it. We keep on going. 6 months later, we were in Cambodia.
Wow.
6 months later, we went back to Uganda. So far, we helped coaches and players. We send them equipment. When we have the chance to visit them, we try to bring them equipment and also technical assistance. But we sent equipment, boxes with racket shoes, strings, bags to 66 countries.
Amazing.
As of today. So we get the help from federations, professional tennis players. There are organizations that are paying attention to what we're doing, and then they see they want to help us. Thing is, a lot of coaches are eager to teach the sport. They don't even know how to teach it properly, but they love the sport, and there are small, very poor communities with no rackets. They want to teach a sport. So if you see that passion, how can you be absent from that? How can you say, okay, yeah, that guy is crazy? No, I'm going to try to help that coach. And I'm going to send him mini tennis rackets. I'm going to send him clothes so he can feel like a tennis coach, not, just doing a session with jeans and sandals. Okay, I'll give you some shoes. I'll give you some tennis shirts, and you can feel like a tennis coach, and people can see you as a coach. And then I give you equipment so you can teach the kids. And I can help you technically do this session this way, do the session that way. watched this video, and it's been a while they've been doing this. Every time we travel, we experience something wonderful. The last trip was 2 months ago. We went to Zimbabwe. We were asked for the Spanish Federation, which is a big honor for us. The Spanish Federation received a letter from the embassy there saying, we want to have some coaches, but to do some workshops because they don't have the proper information. And the president of the Spanish Federation, who's a friend of mine, and I know him for a long time, and he said, Martin, can you help us with that? Can Tennis Aid help us? So we travel representing the Spanish Federation. We did 3 workshops in 3 different cities. We made about 2,000 kilometers by car.
Incredible.
In 8 days. It was very tiring, but what we saw there was fantastic. The impact in coaches, kids, the outcome of that, because we're going to continue that. The federation loved it, and we have a schedule, an appointment, a meeting very soon to continue with that, which is something that makes me really proud and happy for that. So when we see coaches that are teaching our sport with so much passion, with no equipment, and you can help them, there's nothing better than that. And
it's incredible.
If you get support, much better.
Incredible what you're doing, Martin. And I'm going to share a story, because when I was with you last year, and you shared with me two things. You shared with me a picture that you were receiving from a pro player that was sending you all the rackets, all the equipment, and you were like, oh my God, this is great. And right away, it wasn't about the equipment itself. It was about the giving back and knowing that those rackets will go in so many hands. And then I still remember to this day, the video you showed me of this little girl that you were able to give her a dress and give her a racket, and she's sending videos and you seeing how better she was and how she grew, and just looking at you and how happy you were. And for me, I'm like, this is what's all this situation with Tennis Aid is all about, is making sure that you bring not just the sport to people, but the smile and the happiness, and giving them a little bit of hope that there's more to their life than just trying to survive in some situations. So I commend you for what you do, and I hope people will listen to this and will reach out and help and support Tennis Aid, because I think it's so important. And also, you said it, tennis, even us. Sometimes, you hear kids complaining that the court is not that soft with clay, or, oh my God, it's so warm outside, or, oh, my shoes are not the right colors. And you're like, oh my God, you should, you need to go and perhaps live those experiences, because here you have kids that probably are walking 10 kilometers to come and see a coach just to play tennis. And it's not about just the tennis. You can have someone, as you mentioned earlier, if you create the right environment, there's no way you're going to fail. There's no way you're going to fail. It's not about just changing the grip. It's not just about knowing that the setup is at the right place, right? It's really about what we create. And I think you're a great, great example of that. And we're getting close to the end of this podcast. I really hope that we can have other conversation. I'm sure we will have other conversation, but I want you to perhaps hear you on what you touched based on in the beginning. It is not easy to teach young kids. It's so rewarding though. But what is the misconception you think about coaching little kids, about coaching progressive tennis, about coaching kids that are playing with orange and the green ball? What is the misconception that you would like to change from coaches that are listening to us right now?
Well, that's another great question. It's a good topic to discuss about, because I think when we see coaches talking about mini tennis, it's like, okay, the little ones, I'm talking about 4 or 5-year-olds. I have kids of 3. I had 3-year-olds, a lot of them in my club now. And when coaches talk about them, they say this is more than kindergarten than any other thing. You're not teaching sport. Number one, which is wrong. Number two, when it comes to the transition between balls, and this is a country where especially people are not really aware of the importance of using progressive balls. Okay, it's softball. No, I would say that 5, 10 years ago, big clubs were using only yellow balls in their session. And the excuse was, no, they're old, so they have no pressure. So you can teach the little kids because they're not bouncing that high, which is a big mistake anyway. That's misinformation for me. And then the problem is that the conception of having good kids, let's say a 7-year-old who's kind of hitting the ball well, 8-year-old, is immediately playing yellow ball with 12-year-olds because he or she, they're good for their age. So what we do is, we put them with the bigger ones, because with the other kids, they cannot play. I mean, they're wasting their time playing orange ball. Their parents don't like it. And this is something I'm really into. I talk to the parents saying, listen, do you think I'm going to work with your kids? And I'm going to do all these progressions. I do the setup of the sessions. I spend 10 minutes setting up the sessions for the kids. And just because, with no reason, no, there is a meaning behind all of that. So let me work and see the progression. Take your time. If you're 5, your kid is 5, 6, 7, what's the rush? If I'm the best coach in the world, your kid is going to be 7.5 months in 6 months. So it's not going to be able to play Grand Slam. So don't worry. If I'm the best coach in the world, things takes a process, takes time. So let's go slow. And don't forget, they're kids. Don't treat them like teenagers because they can play harder. No, they want to be with their kids the same age. They have schoolmates in their sessions. So let them be with them. You can ask him, okay, if you rally with me, since you're much better than the others, you can rally 10 balls straight with me. And the other kids are okay, can you keep 3 balls with me? 3, 4? I'll keep in different targets, but I'll keep in the same path. I'll keep in the same session so they can share space with kids their same age. And they use the proper equipment. A 7-year-old who's playing with yellow ball, the parents, sometimes parents say, no, but my son is very strong. Yeah, but look at the size of the wrist. It's like chicken bone, okay? Do you think that wrist with that 23-inch racket, metal racket, do you think you can try to play for 1 hour with that racket? And you say, ooh, this is difficult because the ball's not going anywhere. And my hands hurt. So it's your son playing with a 7-year-old wrist with that ball in a big court with other kids. What do you think is going to feel? Okay. So how is going to keep that technique of that forehand in front of the body or above the head, which is going to be better. So take your time. Let the process continue. Take your time to see the way they progress, and then everything's going to be fine. But no rushing.
Yeah. Amazing takeaways, Martin. Have fun, do things with a purpose, create a great environment, make sure your kids have the proper equipment. So important. And also, I think it's important to never compromise those things, right? Because it is so important. It is why the kid's going to stay in our sport. And I hope that people will take this and really just, again, it's not about just the forehand grip. It's about going on the tennis court and trying to use those 2, 3 points that you mentioned earlier. Martin, you said that you love music. I always end like this, the podcast, because I'm also a music lover. We've talked about it when we saw each other. If at this moment there's one song that would represent either you or the moment you're in, what would it be?
Oof. There's so many. Well, I have tattooed here, Maladjusted.
Oh.
It's a Morrissey song. It sounds weird, but Maladjusted is someone that is not adjusting to proper, the typical standards. And I might say that I tattooed this because I like Morrissey, singer, but it represents probably what I do in terms of coaching, because I understand that I have a different vision than many other coaches I'm surrounded by. But it's not because, I said it before, it's not because I want to be the weird guy. It's because this is the way I feel it. This is the way I see it. And this is the way my players have been progressing. And I have success in creating environments, not champions. I'm not talking about that. I'm creating an environment of good people playing tennis in a good level, good technique, understanding how to behave, being nice to teammates, rivals, coaches, the equipment, the facilities. So that gave me a lot of success in terms of getting to that point. So I would say Maladjusted probably. It's not a very pop song, but
that's cool. Maladjusted from Morrissey, right? Good. That's good. Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna put that on for sure after we're done this. So Martin, first of all, everyone can follow you, Mini Player or Martin Rocca, on Instagram, on Facebook, Tennis Aid. Also, you show all your experience. You share with us, when you're with the kids and those coaches, so they can follow you there. Where can they buy the book, Martin?
It's on Amazon. It's called Kids Tennis, and it's you can buy on Amazon. And let me say that it's right here. The foreword was written by Alex Correcha. Someone like Severin Tamborero wrote for the book also. I don't know if you remember.
No, I don't know.
Heard that name before? Judy Murray, Carla Suarez, a lot of people. That Conchita Martinez also wrote for the book. And all the benefits from the selling of this book go straight to Tennis Aid, so not to my pocket.
And again, it shows you how amazing you are, a great person. And I think you coach the way you are, person first, player second. So Martin, I really want to thank you for your time. I'm so happy I was able to share a little bit of you, a little bit of your passion, a little bit of your heart with everyone that will listen to the podcast and the Seve Talk community. So thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to see you very, very soon.
Thank you for having me here. And then hope this can bring some ideas to coaches and really prepare for another talk whenever you want.
That's a pleasure. I'm taking you on this one. For sure, we're going to do another one. So thanks a lot, Martin, and good luck with everything that's coming your way in the next few months.
Thank you, Seve. Bye-bye.
Bye. I hope you enjoyed this month's podcast. Go to CoachSeve.com in the media section and share your experience, questions, and comments. Thank you guys for listening and being part of the Seve Talk community. Until next time, Seve's out.